who has the advantage at quarterback. You got Indiana with the seasoned veteran Kurtis Rourke, who's operating as well as any quarterback in the Big Ten. And then Dylan Raiola. When you talk about draft prospects, you can make a case that Dylan Raiola is the best NFL draft prospect quarterback maybe in the Big Ten.
Wow.
With the path he's on. I mean, tell me who
I mean, I don't know. I'd have to think about. I mean, Dylan,
the USC guy's all right.
He's all right. This guy might be. This guy, Kurtis Rourke, is showing up on Heisman lists now. On like for instance, ESPN, they do their weekly Heisman watch.
He's on the list.
He's 5. Yeah, he's 5. Who has the advantage? Who has the QB advantage? I'd have to say Indiana because of his he's a veteran. He's 6'5", 223. He's in his 6th year of college. Now think about Dylan. Dylan's not going to make it 6 years in college.
So when he started his career at Ohio for Frank Solich,
2019,
Dylan Raiola was in junior high.
There you go. So
think about that.
Yeah, I have to give Indiana. I hate to do it because you know how highly I think of Dylan, but again, this is a seasoned guy. 2019 was his first year. He redshirted. This was a kid who redshirted at Ohio, and then he followed his brother to Ohio, and then he came on the scene and then he took over as the starter. It was I believe a 3-year starter. He ran option. He's athletic. You mentioned the other day, I talked to Frank about it. Frank Solich recruited him out of Ontario. He went to a Holy Trinity High School in Ontario. And he has found a offense that he operates well, and he's completing 74% of his passes. He's got 14 touchdown passes with only 2 picks. He's the number one. He has the number 1 QBR in the Big Ten. I think they have by any really objective measure, you'd have to say it's Kurtis Rourke.
I would love to know the portal recruiting on him, how hot of a prospect was he?
He was the 17th rated quarterback in the portal class.
Was this his only legit Power 4 offer? Because Indiana doesn't strike me as someone that's going to break the bank for a quarterback in the portal.
Probably not. Probably not.
Could Minnesota have gotten him over Max
Brosmer? Yeah, a good question. But I don't think Minnesota breaks the bank either.
No, I know. And so, could Rutgers have gotten this guy?
Yeah, I would think so.
That was the tier.
I think you named another one that doesn't break the bank.
But this was a great get for Indiana. I'm just curious what his market was.
I am too.
Because if we now know what we know, can you imagine what his market would be today?
He'd be a millionaire.
And he had been, and this is what the portal is for, in my opinion. He had been at Ohio 5 years.
Yep.
What more could he have accomplished there?
Now, this isn't a bad look. This isn't a bad look transfer. This is a kid who did his thing at Ohio.
Gave Ohio 5 years.
Gave Ohio 5 good years. And had a winning record. I should be able to say the winning record off the top of my head. But he had a winning. Oh, it was 22-11.
His brother played at Ohio too, right?
Yeah, he followed his brother there. So no, he gave Ohio all he could. And there's nothing wrong in this situation with in my opinion, playing 5 years at a school and saying, okay, I'm going to go in the Big Ten now and see what I got. In my opinion, there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Frank Solich was a sneaky good Canadian recruiter. He got Darren Diedrich out of there.
He was sneaky good. Really.
Patrick Kabongo, Sandro DeAngelis.
He talked about that the other day. Yeah, he was good. And he was good. Even you don't think about what he did in Massachusetts. He went and got Mike Kroll from Sudbury, Massachusetts. Now, the older listeners will remember this. Mike Kroll was an excellent end, a defensive end. He went and got Joe Sims out of Sudbury, Massachusetts. Frank recruited all up and down the seaboard, down from Massachusetts to Florida. That was his.
Well, in that short conference in New Jersey, he really made it.
He said this. He got Nebraska into New Jersey,
and working on the book that we worked on. It took. You have to gain the Tom Osborne told me this. You have to gain the trust of those coaches in New Jersey at that time in the 80s to get them to send their players to Nebraska. And think about this: Mike Rozier was the number 1 pick in the USFL Heisman winner. Irving Fryer was the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. One of the most accomplished receivers in program history. And Frank got both those guys out of New Jersey.
I know. That's pretty
Two
good.
number one picks.
Yeah.
Two number one picks.
Right. He went and got Jamal Lord way later. He did
The Peters.
the Peters. So
Doug Coleman.
Back to the quarterback discussion. Dylan, this is a big challenge for Dylan because of I'd say because of the scene. He hasn't seen this. Now Purdue had a good crowd. I want to make that clear to people.
It was sold out.
It wasn't a bad crowd at Purdue. So he's been on the road in a challenging environment. Not like this one though. Purdue was sold out, but it wasn't full.
It's a noon game out there though. I do think that's better than at night. If this
100. Oh, always better. Yeah.
Like everyone's still trying to kind of get their sea legs going by like 11 or noon for these early games where, later in the day you're ready.
Yeah. Yeah. We're kind of, no doubt about it. Now, I don't pretend to know what that scene's going to be like at Indiana because it's not like we're talking about a program that's used to this. In fact, we're talking about a program Indiana has never won 10 games. Okay. It's never won 10 games. We're talking about a program, Indiana, that hasn't won a bowl game since 1961. This is all very new to Indiana. What's going on now? You mentioned the COVID year, and they had Penix, and Tom Allen had them going right before Penix transferred.
Well, and DeBoer was there. I mean, I think a big reason why Allen got going was Penix and DeBoer.
100.
And when Penix and DeBoer left, what happened to Tom Allen?
Nosedive,
huge nosedive.
Yeah.
So what was crazy about that era of Indiana before, they had the right guy. He just wasn't the head coach.
He just wasn't the head coach. That's football, baby. I mean, it's really hard to get all the ducks lined up like you need them in this sport. It is.
They had DeBoer and Penix.
I know.
The coach of Alabama and an Atlanta Falcons quarterback.
Yep. And they did well.
Oh, they came to Lincoln in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they were well put together.
They lost though.
Right? Nebraska lost Indiana.
Oh God, that's right.
That's the game Noah Vedral started.
That's right.
Nebraska was up 14-3.
I'm sorry.
And they blew the game.
So who has the QB advantage? I think you just, again, by any objective measure, you have to say Indiana.